So, Penguin episode 2 came out recently. Spoiler alert, just in case you haven't watched it yet, because they changed the premiere dates from Thursdays at 9 to Sunday nights at 9. So, that was a little confusing. Anyway, so Penguin episode 2 begins with Oz kind of finding himself playing cat and mouse for the Falcone family and the Maroni family. And he's just trying to get them to take each other out because at the end of the day, Oz's goal as the Penguin is to just become the kingpin of Gotham. But in order to do that, he has to get rid of these two competitors. Neither side trusts him right now, but he uses what they want to his advantage to kind of win them over for the moment or for the day. And they come up with various plans, but every plan he comes up with seems like is taking a left turn in the wrong way. As an example for this is at the beginning where he's planning with the Maronis on ambushing a Falcone supply pickup route or whatever. The plan goes wrong because Oz is forced by one of the Falcone leaders to get in the car that's being ambushed instead of being in a follow car like he initially planned. And Oz still makes it work for him because he's a quick thinker on his feet. He's always able to come up with a plan B in the heat of the moment. So that just works out for him throughout this entire episode because he's definitely going to need that against people like Sophia Falcone, for example. Now, real quick, I just want to give a shout out to Christine Milioti because she does a great and a fantastic job playing Sophia Falcone. You could just feel her emotion through the screen. Whenever she's on screen, you just feels like she's in the room right next to you, and just her delivery and everything, and you know how she's acting is just really good. She's really grown on me. She's like one of my favorite characters in the whole show now, and we're only on episode 2. She's a great character in my opinion because, like I said in the previous review, she's an Arkham Asylum patient. So everybody thinks she's not intelligent, but she really is because she spent a good portion of her time there being broken down mentally or psychologically, and she could use that to break other people down psychologically. Now, she's not torturing those people, but she could use what was done to her, what she learned from those experiences, to see if people are telling her the truth or not. And she's actually quite smart. She picks up on the BS when it's presented. Even one of her uncles of the Falcone family said, "Oh, you always had a nose for sniffing out BS." So she's really smart, really talented, great character. Oz and Sophia kind of find themselves in this cat and mouse game, like I mentioned earlier. And the difference is Sophia doesn't know what's fully going on, but Oz does know what's fully going on. And the fact that Sophia kind of finds a way to foil his plans every step of the way in this episode without her knowing that Oz is behind everything just kind of shows how smart she really is and how dangerous she potentially is if she does find out that Oz is eventually connected. Because last week's episode, they showed that she knows Oz is up to something with her brother's death in the last episode. But, you know, the little kid that Penguin hired came to save the day and made Sophia kind of like, oh, well, maybe Oz isn't involved after all. But he really was because it was all part of Penguin's quick thinking on his feet in the heat of the moment. So that's what Penguin does here a lot. He just kind of comes up with a lot of plan Bs. Everybody's kind of disappointing him this episode. And this works because it's a much more realistic take on the rise of power, because most shows you see, you know, somebody wants to be the next big bad or the big boss, but things kind of fall into their lap. Here with Penguin and Oz's point of view, nothing falls into his lap, everything's going sideways. He has to work twice as hard to get what he wants now. And as Oz is working to get things he wants twice as hard throughout this episode, some things do fall in his lap, but it doesn't take away from the immersion while you're watching the show. It's kind of like, okay, this character would do that because everybody's being underestimated. So the theme I'm seeing here with this episode is kind of an underestimated mind between Oz and Sophia Falcone, where No one thinks Oz can do anything because he was only Carmine Falcone's right-hand man, so he doesn't know how to think for himself. And on the other hand, everybody thinks that Sophia isn't intelligently smart because she was in Arkham Asylum. So it just all kind of comes together when they're just putting their intelligences against each other, trying to see who can win first or who could come out alive first. So another example of Oz thinking quick on his feet is when they actually capture one of the Maroni men and they have them on this medication which is going to make them tell the truth. And the Maroni leader boss lady is telling Oz that he needs to rescue that guy or they're going to expose Oz and his plan. So he goes to rescue him, but Oz realizes he can't get him out, so he ends up killing him. You think Oz is getting away, but everybody in the Falcone family is checking for a traitor because they feel like there's an inside man due to the ambush they had earlier in the episode. So they find out that the weapon that was used to murder the Maroni guy was a knife. With Oz's quick thinking, he gets rid of the knife, causes a fight, and puts it in one of the other henchmen that's working for Sophia's pocket. And he gets that guy killed. So, you know, a lot of close calls has been made for Oz. Like, he almost dies a lot this episode. So stuff are really getting intense here. It's just crazy. So that being said, I give this episode a 10 out of 10. The first episode last week really sold me, but now in episode 2, they managed to keep that same feeling, that same atmosphere of, you know, what's gonna happen next. It's kind of a predictable plot, but it's not a predictable plot at the same time because anything can happen to anybody at any time. It seems like obviously Penguin is gonna survive because he is a Batman villain. You just want to see how he gets there, and the fact that he has so many close calls in this episode shows that his journey to the top is not going to be easy. Again, shout out to Sophia Falcone for being the best character in this episode. I feel like without her in this episode, the episode would have kind of been boring. It kind of would have been like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Just her being there really spiced everything up. So that's going to be about it for this review of Penguin episode 2. Let me know what you guys thought in the comment section down below. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can know when I make new videos. And I'll see you on the next one.